Elite in 2021. What it does so well, what it doesn't do so well, who this bike's for, and yeah, these are just my thoughts. Long-term review. So yeah, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. Well, crazy times. We're locked down again for another week. Super bored, so I thought, why not make another video? The GT, I've now owned it for 7 or 8 months. Ridden it pretty much everywhere in all kinds of conditions, from super wet to super dry. And I guess it's probably a good time to do a long-term review. So yes, let's get into it. It's obviously 2021 model Force Elite, but the spec is so much different to how it comes from factory. I bought the bike purely because it was one of the only ones available at the time, when it was near impossible to get the bike that you wanted without waiting a long time. And I did get a lower spec bike, and then with the intention of like doing upgrades at the time, which is pretty much exactly what I've done, sort of thing. So the original GT Force Elite comes with SRAM SX group set, Tektro Orion brakes, WTB I-29 ST rims. I think that's what it is. Yeah, and then a few like fabric fungi saddle and fabric grips and so on, sort of thing. So I'll run you through the changes that I've made to this bike to make it super good, or really good anyway, because yeah, I couldn't afford an expert carbon, couldn't even find one. So yeah, from top to bottom, the Ergon, I've gone Ergon Enduro saddle now. Had a DMR on there for a while, but this is so much more comfortable and so much more relief on a long loops. Got rid of the 45mm stem and gone the 40mm stem. Quickened up the steering. The 45mm stem it felt weird. It felt shorter than a 50mm stem, but then it didn't have the directness of steering, but then it also didn't have a nice sort of reach. I didn't really like the reach, sort of thing. But the 40mm stem has quickened up the steering and made it a lot more snappy and maneuverable. I took off the GT bars that it came with and got a set of these fat bars on there as well. These are a 30mm rise with a, I think it's like a 9-degree back, 5 degrees up sort of thing. Yeah, so the fork, the Marzocchi fork, I'm running 3 tokens in it. That makes it nice and progressive, and it matches the rear end now as well. What else? I've got the XT Icetec rotors and the XT Shimano brake setup, sort of thing. So I personally like the Shimano brakes over the SRAM brakes. I like the bite point. I like that hard engagement sort of thing. The modulation is still pretty good, and you basically get no brake fade. I was running the original Tektro caliper, sorry, the discs with the XT brakes for a little bit, but the XT rotors made a massive difference, huge difference as well. What else? I'm running DT Swiss, the M19 wheel set. It does have the straight pull spokes, so yeah, no dramas. Spokes are still nice and tight. This is a killer wheel set, super strong, and yeah, I said, so far so good. I do have the hub, doesn't sound too bad. Now, so I've gone the GX derailleur, the GX cassette, SRAM X01 chain. I did have a GX chain and I busted that on a ride around Lofty. And then I've got the 170mm cranks, because 175mm cranks is just way too long, man. Also, the other reason why I went the new wheel set is because the WTB wheel set that comes with it also has just the Shimano HG driver on the rear hub, sort of thing. So I could only run an SX NX cassette and I wanted to get the GX Eagle cassette, so I wanted the SRAM driver. So that's also one of the reasons why I upgraded the wheels as well. So then I can get the rear hub that I wanted, sort of thing. So, and the weight saving between the back wheel with the new cassette is huge. Don't know exactly the weight, I never weighed them, but it's a lot. It's good. It's heaps good. Brendog pedals. Yeah, so basically the only really original things on the bike now is the frame, the fork and shock, the dropper. That's basically it. Everything else has changed. So it's made it a bit of a rig for sure. I guess it's sort of closer to the top spec bike, but we're still within budget. So the whole bike probably owes me around about six and a half grand. It was about 4.5 grand to buy it. I've probably spent 2 grand, and about 900 bucks of that was just the wheels, and then I guess all the drivetrain and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's made it a sled. So things the bike does well and things it doesn't do so well. Okay, so it's got a 442mm chainstay, 442mm chainstay, and it's got a 1250 wheelbase. That makes it a relatively longish sort of bike. And then also being a 29er, it's a really planted, fast, stable bike. It's wicked for downhill. Even with the suspension, the shocks and the fork aren't, you know, the highest top shelf fork, still handles itself really well. Nice and progressive rear end. The fork feels nice and rampy now that it's got 3 tokens in it as well. It's super fast, super stable. It's great for just if you just like pumping up a fire road and then sending it down some trails. This is definitely a good bike. It's good over jumps and all that sort of stuff. What it doesn't do so well, it's not as playful as a 27.5, and because it has a slightly longish wheelbase, a longer chainstay, it's not the most whippy, flicky, playful party bike sort of thing. So I think the Trek Slash and the Canyon Spectral 27.5 and all those sort of bikes, and maybe the Trek Remedy is a lot more playful and whippy and traily orientated slash, I don't know, like enduro senders, whereas this is a bit more of like a bomber in a way. Like I said, this bike is super fast, but if you're like a smaller guy, or you like, you know, whipping tails and doing big jumps and senders and stuff like that, there's probably bikes out there that are more playful than this one. But at the same time, this is just a full sled sort of thing, so if that makes sense. So yeah, so I mean, combined with the 25, you can run it as a mullet possibly. I think the EWS guys that have got the Forces run mullet setups. This will probably work really well as a mullet as well. Also in the suspension setting, I've just ran it in the low. So it's got a 65 degree head angle, 77 degree seat angle. The flip chip adds half a degree, so it'd be like 65.5, 77.5 if you put it in the high setting. It's a really, really good climber. There's barely any suspension bob in it whatsoever. It's quite a responsive bike. It's a really good, comfortable bike to ride all day. If you want to do a good 25-30k loop or whatever, like it's a great bike. It's not super heavy either as well. I do ride with a few mates who got e-bikes, and yeah, like I said, it comes down to fitness, I suppose. But yeah, it's a really comfortable bike. It's got a really good reach on it. This is the large sort of thing. I'm 5'10", 180 centimeters exactly, and I'm on the cusp of medium large. Like, I have ridden some medium bikes and they're comfortable for me. This is a large, so it's quite a big bike sort of thing, but then I kind of like, I'm more of like a winch and plummet kind of rider. I'll just ride up the hill and then go do downhill tracks. So I didn't really need the most maneuverable poppy, because I don't really send massive jumps or whatnot sort of thing. So but yeah, so if you're looking for a super whippy, playful kind of bike, there's probably more playful bikes that are out there. But if you're looking for like a fast sort of sled that's good for going uphill and going downhill, and super capable, super planted, then this is probably a good bike for you. Yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoy the review. Good luck if you are looking for one of these bikes. They are an awesome bike. Just if you do get the Elite, just be prepared to do some upgrades. All of the parts that came on the bike are actually on my GT Avalanche hardtail. Check out my channel if you wanted to see that. So none of the parts went to waste, sort of thing. And if I was to ever sell this bike, I would probably return it close back to standard and then sell it cheap, sort of thing. So yeah, thumbs up. Give a like if you like this video, if this was helpful in any way, if you are looking at one of these, or if you're just bored and wanted to watch something on TV. Yeah, cool. Keep shredding and catch you out on the trails.